Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a celebration of life is held to honor a Kentucky state representative. And AAA predicts just how many Kentuckians plan to travel for the busy Memorial Day weekend.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Chas Gayhart. It is 5:58 on Friday, May 19th. Let's go over and check in with Brandon. Nice day this morning, or nice beginning of today.
Yeah, exactly. Nice beginning to the day, and of course it's Friday, so that's always a nice day.
Yes.
It could be pouring the rain out there on a Friday. It'd still be a nice day.
I wouldn't mind at all.
Exactly. All right, let's get into the forecast this morning. It is definitely not pouring the rain right now, but tomorrow morning at this time, it could be. Let's see what's going on across our region. Going north to the Mountain Parkway, Wolf-Powell County line near Slade. Everything looking pretty good. Some light traffic up that way this morning. No major issues. Temperatures very mild, 50 to 65. That is the range this morning. A lot of mid to upper 50s and low to mid 60s out there as you start your day. So what is today's forecast? What is sun and clouds? Right around 80 degrees, maybe a few sprinkles a little bit later on this afternoon in the western counties, and then more sprinkles and rain chances come into play tonight. I will track those for you in just a few minutes. Chas?
Thanks, Brandon. A celebration of life for a state representative was held in Lexington last night. Dozens gathered at Gray Line Station to honor State Representative Lemoyne Swan. Grayson Passmore talked with his family and fellow representatives who say he's left behind a very large hole to fill.
He was going to be something special. Well, he already proved that.
In the room full of people, there are some like Marilyn Dishman who knew State Representative Lemoyne Swan when he was the little boy in these photos.
He looked sweet. He didn't look devilish even then.
He was always just so goofy and always elbowing me of saying, right, Kayla, and I was like, as the youngest baby cousin.
Others have gotten to know Swan more recently.
He was only there for one session. He absolutely has left a lasting impression. He set the example for, again, leading with your heart and having a heart for service.
At 45 years old, Lemoyne Swan died following a medical emergency that left him hospitalized on May 14th. He was just elected to his first term in November 2022. And on Thursday, his fellow representatives like Harlan Stevenson stood beside Swan's family, his girlfriend, and the dozens of people whose lives he's impacted, all to share their favorite memories.
He was obviously a catalyst and a conduit for getting things moving, getting the party started, if you will.
Swan was at countless rallies and events advocating for causes like LGBTQ rights, racial justice, women's reproductive rights, and family reunification.
I absolutely am a better human because I knew Lemoyne, and I think everybody here can say the same thing.
His passion for service didn't stop in life either.
He donated his organs to so other people can live. So think about this. He is still living through other people. That is so dynamic, and that's so Lemoyne.
And that's why so many gather here to celebrate and remember the Honorable Lemoyne Swan.
That was Grayson Passmore reporting. Swan was a Tates Creek High School graduate and UK alum. His funeral will be held today. Yesterday, community leaders in Harlan County sat down and talked about ways they can better serve the people of the county. Harlan ARH hosted a luncheon to discuss how the healthcare industry can work with the community and create partnerships to promote better outcomes. Harlan County Judge Executive Dan Mosley says this conversation was important for everyone involved. He says by continuing to educate people, they will be able to have a better and healthier community.
We have to be educating our community on why health is important and why we need to be, making sure we're taking care of ourselves, both from a physical perspective and going through and getting the screenings that are necessary and recommended to make sure that we're keeping an eye on our health.
Mosley says he will continue to work with and for the people of Harlan County to make sure they have the resources they need. Kentucky's horse racing industry is preparing for a new kind of wagering that will find at some of the state's tracks and track-owned facilities. Within a few months, you will soon be able to bet on college and pro sporting events. Sports betting will be allowed online, but as WYMT's Phil Pendleton tells us, businesses like the Red Mile and Keeneland are getting in the game as well.
The General Assembly finally approved sports wagering this year, but there's a process that takes months before the first bet can be placed.
The legislation provided that racetracks are permitted to apply for licenses with the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission.
Keeneland and the Red Mile are partnering with Caesars Entertainment for a sports book facility at the harness racing track.
So we have a joint venture with the Red Mile through which we offer the historical horse racing at the Red Mile. And we'll develop again this joint venture with the Red Mile so that Caesars will be offering the sports betting.
And the Mint here in Williamsburg, just off of Interstate 75, is one place where you're going to be able to place bets on sporting events. In fact, this facility was designed for the possibility of sports betting being legal in Kentucky. The Mint, along with other similar facilities, will offer a sportsbook facility along with their HHR machines.
I'll bet on sports, whether it's horse racing, because we always had that approved in the state. Now they can bet on whether it's football, baseball, basketball, and this is a big basketball community.
The Horse Racing Commission makes the rules for sports wagering, and then licenses are applied for.
The hope is that that might be in place before the fall when it's football season. That would be ideal.
That's earlier than original estimates of January 2024 when passed by legislators. Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Caesars Entertainment has a policy that gaming is only allowed for those 21 and older, and Keeneland and the Red Mile officials say they will follow that rule as well. Memorial Day marks the kickoff to the summer travel season. Travel experts say about 42 million people nationwide are expected to travel between Thursday and Monday of Memorial Day weekend. AAA of the Bluegrass expects more than 530,000 Kentuckians to head out for the Memorial Day weekend, which is almost 12% of the population. One issue Lori Weaver Hawkins says drivers should not have to deal with this Memorial Day and throughout the summer is paying too much at the pump.
Hotels are more expensive. Flights are about 40% higher than what we saw last Memorial Day. So people are paying more for other things on their trips, but gas shouldn't be one of them.
Those with AAA recommend those traveling long distances to do a few things before they leave. First, make sure that you have a spare tire and that it's safe to drive on in case of an emergency. They also say flat tires are one of the most common calls they respond to on the interstate. You should also check your fluids, and when it's hot outside, be mindful of your battery not overheating. Kentucky State Fair organizers in Louisville have unveiled the 2023 dates and a new experience this summer. This year's State Fair is happening from August 17th through the 27th with a theme, Summer Summed Up. Organizers say there will be a variety of entertainment options, food, and attractions at the Kentucky Expo Center, including the new Beer Fest. It will be held the first Friday of the fair. Those who are 21 and up will be able to sample beers from 20 different craft breweries across the state. Fair tickets are already on sale for $9. That includes admission and parking.
Coming up on 6:07 on this Friday morning, we're looking at some fog and a few clouds up on top of Buffalo Mountain as we start our day. You can see the fog in the valleys. Trying to break the clouds up just a little bit there, but a little bit of a breeze as well up around the mountain. So just be careful out there this morning. Looking at 55 there and then 55 in Hazard. One of our cooler spots along with Grundy at 50 and Wise at 54. Everybody else is in the mid to upper 50s and low to mid 60s out there. Monticello, the warm spot at 66. Much warmer than it was this time yesterday, double digits. And many locations are pretty close to it. The only spot that is just a few degrees warmer this morning is Wise over in Southwest Virginia. Day planner heading up to about 80. I think most of us stay dry for much of the day, mix of sun and clouds, but maybe some stray sprinkles there later this afternoon for our neighbors in those western counties. Chas?
Thanks, Brandon. And thank you for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, a California man claims an accident is the cause of a crash that almost took his family's lives. But his wife is telling another story. Stay with us. That's on the way next.